So now we'll continue with our discussion and let us discuss about Lord Krishna's pastime. This is again what we are discussing. What we are discussing is the pastime of Lord Krishna when he's still young. Okay, same Pauganda age. But this pastime is with the wives of the Brahmanas, proud Brahmanas. So we'll discuss the pastime first here, and then we'll see the philosophy part with the from the Bhagavatam there. Yeah. Okay, it's very important. Please listen very carefully. Otherwise, you'll just skip it. Yeah. Otherwise, you just understand the story is only pastime, leela, but they have philosophy behind it. Okay. So please make notes. Listen very carefully. So this is where at the time where Krishna, along with his Lord Balaram and his friends, they are in the forest, and every so often they get hungry. The young boys. So although they have got all these nice preparations which is cooked by their mothers, and they share their prasadam, bhoga together, still they are hungry. So once they all were very hungry, all the friends came to Krishna and Balaram said, Krishna, do something, we are very hungry now. So Krishna said, okay, do one thing, just not very far from here, you go there are some Brahmanas, they are performing sacrifices, yagnas. You approach them, tell them that give us some food. So we will not go into the discussion between the boys with the Brahmanas. What the Brahmanas say in the rejection? Okay, but they rejected it. Brahmana said, no, you're very busy now. Children, go away. So they said, you're saying no to Krishna and Balaram? They're asking for bhoga from you? They said, no. I said, oh, they came back to Krishna. I said, Krishna, see, this is what they're doing. Krishna says, no problem. Now what you do is, you go to their wives. They are a bit further away, in a distance, in their village. Tell them that Krishna and Balaram are here. We are their friends. They are very hungry. They want to have some bhoga. They will give something. Tell them I've said this. So it's very important when somebody says, do like this, like this, like this, then you must do like this, like this, like this. Don't put your brain behind and remove something. Okay, but it is, at times you have to remove also, but you have to be very careful about understanding who the person, the mood of the person are. Okay, otherwise don't. So what happened here? That they went to the Brahmanas' wives, and they were very happy. Okay, and they gave all this food for them to be carried, and they were carrying all this food with them to be given to Krishna and Balaram. They were actually devotees of Krishna. Now bear with me as we go through that pastime. Okay, again we'll go through these two layers, and this Bhagavatam is multi-layered, like lotus petals, thousands of petals. Each petal gives you more information, more depth. My capacity is very limited. I just read what notes are made based upon what Srila Prabhupada and Prabhupada's disciples have written. And our understanding is then we collectively can think about it and meditate upon it. This is called Ishtagosti, discussing about Krishna. Right. So for a long time, the wives of the Brahmanas had been anxious to see Krishna. We started from that point, okay? So they brought the bhoga for Krishna. However, when they were preparing to leave home to see him, their husbands, fathers, sons, and relatives asked them not to go, because a woman is generally under the control of the father. If not the father, then the husband. If not the husband, then the elder son. If not the elder relatives. She's never independent. Sorry, like it or not, that's the Vedic way of life. You want to be independent, please be, but this is how it is. Generally not. Why? Why they are not left out to fend on their own? Why? Because they are mothers. They're going to give birth to children. So they require protection. What do you mean they require protection? Women are independent, they don't require protection. Of course they don't. But I can tell you one thing, if there's a bomb which falls on a marriage party and they say that 100 people were killed, of which 35 were women and 15 were children, They don't even take the name of men. So because why they say this? Because they're special. So if you don't want to be special, don't be special. That's fine. I would like to be special if I'm men. They say men protected, women will go in front. I said, no problem, go. I'll wear my pallu down, I'll wear, smoke my cigarette in a pallu, no problem. You fight your own things. You be independent, be better, nonsense, go to hell. I'm okay with me, first class. Is it not so? Raise your hands, men. Agreed? Yeah, that's right. Why independence? We don't want independence. Go to hell with independence. Anyway, so all these people said no, but they still went. The wives did not comply with him. When a devotee is called by the when devotee is called by the attraction of the Lord, of Krishna, he does not care for bodily ties. The woman entered the forests of Vrindavan on the bank of the Yamuna, which were verdant with vegetation and newly grown vines and flowers. Within the forest, they saw Krishna and Balaram first time. They were loving him all throughout their lives, but the first time they saw, they were engaged in tending cows along with their affectionate other boyfriends. The wives of the Brahmanas saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he entered their hearts through their eyes. You see? So we enter the heart through eyes, through tongue, through ears, through touch, all senses. The gopi, another meaning of gopi, this is not the full definition of gopi, but another meaning of gopi is that through all the senses, they grasped Krishna. They enjoyed the nectar of Krishna. That's why gopi. Pi means to drink the nectar and juice of Krishna. Go means all the senses. So anyone who can, as Guru Maharaj, this is Guru Maharaj's definition. Maharaj would say this. Anyone who can to drink the nectar of Krishna through all the senses is a gopi to that extent. To that extent. So the Brahmana's wife saw Krishna putting on a garment glittering with gold, yellow garment. He wore a nice garland of forest flowers. See again, forest flowers. So he lives in the forest. And then when he went to live in a city, Mathura, his opulence was different. He did not take his flute. He was not playing his flute then. In the forest, he was playing his flute. There he was a king in Mathura. So he wore a nice forest flowers garland and a peacock feather on his head. He was also painted with minerals from found in Vrindavan. Sand and minerals found in Vrindavan. They paint themselves as if their mothers also painted them. We discussed this in the past. Nice decorations on the face and all these things. But still, they would go to the forest, take out some other minerals and paints, and painted them even more, each other. And he looked exactly like a dancing actor in a theatrical stage. Yeah. Actually, they said, what are you? Are you a dancing actor? Professional actor? Nice decorations. Krishna always come fully decorated, not like us. And they saw him keeping one hand on the shoulder of his friend, and on the other, he was holding a lotus flower. This is how they saw God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His ears were decorated with lilies. Imagine me holding a lily here and all this thing. He's gone mad or something. Oh, Krishna is beautiful. He was decorated. And he wore marks of tilak. And he was smiling very charmingly. With their very eyes, the wives of the Brahmana saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for whom they had heard so much. So much they had heard about him, who was so dear to them, and in whom their minds were always absorbed. Now he was in front of them. Now they saw him eye to eye, face to face. and Krishna entered within their hearts through their eyes. They began to embrace Krishna within their hearts to their heart's content. The distress of separation was mitigated immediately. They were just like great sages. By their advancement of knowledge, merge into the existence of the Supreme. As a super soul, Paramatma living in everyone's heart, Lord Krishna could understand their mind, what's going on in their mind. They had come to him despite all the protests of their relatives, fathers, husbands, brothers, and all the duties of household affairs. They had given up all these things. They came just to see him who was their life and soul. Thus, they were actually following Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. What is the instruction? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarapapebhyo moksha ishami ma shuchaha. One should surrender to him, giving up all varieties of occupations and religious duties. The wives of the Brahmanas actually carried out the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita in total. He therefore began to speak to them smilingly, very magnificently. So he noted, it should be noted that in this connection that Krishna entered into their wives' hearts, and when they embraced him and felt the transcendental bliss of being merged with him, the Supreme Lord Krishna did not lose his identity, nor did the individual wives lose their identities. Like Mayavadi is saying, one should note this. So the individuality of both the Lord and their wives remained, yet they felt oneness in existence. You understand this? When a lover submits to his lover without any pinch of personal consideration, this is called oneness. Yeah. So they were separate, but they still felt oneness. Lord Chaitanya has taught us this feeling of oneness in his six Shastra. He says Krishna may act freely, whatever doing whatever he likes, but the devotee should always be one, should be in oneness or in agreement with his devotees. Break his heart by not being present before me. He can do anything and everything, for he will always remain my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shikshastak. That oneness is exhibited by the wives of the Brahmanas in their love for Krishna. Just see, it is not sentimental. Now you see, understand this point? This is not sentimental love. This love for Krishna is based on solid ground of philosophical understanding. So without proper philosophical understanding, don't think we can have love for Krishna. Only an emotional platform. Krishna welcomed them with the following words. What did he say? My dear wives of the Brahmanas, you are very fortunate and welcomed here. See, you are all very fortunate, he said, and welcomed here. Please let me know what can I do for you. Imagine this. This would have broken their heart if the Krishna asked you, what can I do for you? You say, what can I do for me? What can I do for you? What is this? Oh, well. You're coming here neglecting all the restrictions and hindrances of relatives, fathers, brothers, husbands in order to see me is completely befitting. See, reassure them. Is correct? You're doing correct. It should be done like this. One who does this actually knows his self-interest. Because rendering transcendental loving service unto me without motive or restriction is actually auspicious for the living entities. Anya vilashita shunyam. Jnana karmadhyanavruttam. Without motive and restriction. Anukulena Krishna. Favorably we must perform. Shilanam bhakti. So Lord Krishna has here confirms that the highest perfectional stage of conditioned soul is surrender to him. One must give up all other responsibilities. This complete surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the most auspicious path for the conditioned soul because the Supreme Lord is the supreme objective of love. Everyone is loving Krishna ultimately, but realization is according to the advancement of his knowledge. How beautiful is this? I repeat again. Everyone is loving Krishna ultimately. All devotees are loving Krishna ultimately. But realization is according to the advancement of his knowledge. How much we have realized Krishna is according to our understanding of the philosophy and accepting the philosophy, implementing in our lives. I reveal accordingly as one surrenders unto me. So one comes to understand that his self is a spirit soul. And the spirit soul is nothing but a part and parcel of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate goal of love. Our only business is to love him. And thus one can surrender unto him in this position. This surrender is considered auspicious for the conditioned soul. So any one of us who surrender to Krishna, the process of surrendering is very auspicious. Whatever level we are surrendered to, it's very fortunate. Our life, property, home, wife, children, house, society, country, and all paraphernalia which are very dear to us are expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And He is a central object of love because He gives us all bliss. See, expanding Himself in so many ways according to our own different situations, namely body, mental, and spiritual. Either we see in Krishna as spiritual or material, in his material form. We're seeing, we're seeing him. He says, my dear wives of the Brahmanas, Krishna says, you can now return to your homes. They came here seeing him, they saw him. He says, welcome, you've done very nice. Now you can return to your homes. Engage yourselves in sacrificial activities and be engaged in the service of your husbands in household affairs so that your husbands will be pleased with you. And the sacrifice which they have begun will be properly executed, he's saying. After all, your husbands are householders, and without your help, how can they execute the prescribed duties? So please return home. The wives of the Brahmanas replied with bated breath. They said, dear Lord, this sort of instruction does not befit you. What are you saying? So your eternal promise is that you will always protect your devotees and you must fulfill your promise, this promise which you have given, protection of devotees. Eternal promise, this. Anyone who comes and surrenders to you, unto you, never goes back to the conditioned life of material existence. We expect you will now fulfill your promise. We have surrendered to unto your lotus feet, which are covered by tulsi leaves. So we have no more desire to return to the company of our so-called relatives, friends, and society, and give up the shelter of the lotus of your lotus feet. You don't want to go back. You've given them enough. And what shall we do returning home? Our husbands, brothers, fathers, sons, mothers, and all friends do not expect us to see us because we have already left them all. Because they told them not to go. Don't go. No, we are going. I dare you not to go. They quietly went away. So they have rejected them because they rejected them for Krishna. You see the situation? So therefore, we have no shelter to return. Where do we go? What is our shelter? Please, therefore, do not ask us to return home, but arrange for us to stay under your lotus feet so that we can eternally live under your protection. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna replied, my dear wives, rest assured that your husbands will not neglect you. on your return. They will accept you. Nor your brothers, sons, or fathers refuse to accept you. Because you are my pure devotees, not only your relatives, but also people in general, as well as the demigods, will be satisfied with you. You see, Krishna is situated in everyone's heart as super soul. So if someone becomes a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, he immediately becomes pleasing to everyone. A pure devotee of Lord Krishna is never inimical to anyone. A sane person cannot be an enemy of the pure devotee. See, both ways. A devotee is not an enemy of anybody, and any sane person doesn't become the enemy of a pure devotee, unless they're insane with greed or whatever it is. Transcendental love for me, Krishna says, does not depend on upon bodily connection. Krishna said this. He further says that, but anyone whose mind is always absorbed in me will surely very soon come to me for my eternal association. That promise he keeps. This is a small pastime. Okay. We'll see a little bit of more philosophy here behind it. So we want to just point here from the point where Krishna is telling the wives, you should now return, should thus return to the sacrificial arena, because your husbands, the learned brahmanas, and are householders, and need your assistance to finish their respective sacrifices. So this is what the wives respond. Okay, listen very carefully. Shripatnya uchuhu maivam vibho rathi bhavan gadum nushamsham satyam kurushva nigamam tava padamulam. No, it's a different verse. Maivam vibhorati bhavan gaditam drusham sam satyam kurushva nigamam tava padamulam prapta vayam tulasidam padar padar vrushashtam keshe nivodham atilangya samasta bandhun. Now see this verse, the starting of this verse is very important. Sipatnya uchuhu, the first line. He says that Maivam vibhoruhati bhavan guditam drusham sam. So he says that Sripatnya uchuhu, the wives of the Brahmana said, Maivam ma means not. Evam, like this. Vibho, O Almighty Lord. Arati, ought. Bhavan, you. Gaditum, to speak. Drusham sam, harshly. He said, should not speak so harshly to us. Because these the same words were used by the gopis when they came to meet Krishna in Vrindavan forest before the Rasa dance. And Krishna told them the same thing. You please go. And they said the same thing to him, first line. So the wives of the Brahmanas replied, O Almighty Lord, O my Almighty One, please do not speak such cruel words. Cruel words. Ask us to go back. Rather, we should fulfill your promise. You should fulfill your promise that you always reciprocate with your devotees in kind. Now that we have attained your lotus feet, we simply wish to remain here in the forest so we can carry upon our heads the garlands of tulsi leaves that fall from the lotus feet. We are ready to give up all material relationships. So the word nigama in this also means in the Vedic literature refers to that one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of Krishna does not return to the material world. So the Brahmanas' wives appeal to him that since now they have returned, do not, please, ask us to go back. Now you see, we will be very careful in this. Philosophically also, I have to be very careful. So I'm selectively now reading and narrating some of the points. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this situation, this particular episode, just this point, okay? He breaks it down. He says this. To this ladies, the ladies might have replied. So Krishna says this to them, go back. So the ladies might have replied, since we have already surrendered to your lotus feet, and since we desire to become your servants, we are obviously not maintaining a false indication as members of the so-called Brahmana community. We are not claiming ourselves to be Brahmanas. You can easily ascertain this from our words, Please. So Krishna has replied, Krishna might have replied then, I'm a cowherd boy, and my proper maid servants and girlfriends are cowherd girls, the gopis. You are Brahmanas' wives. You see? So the wives might have answered, true, let them be so, your gopis. Let them shine forth if you are embraced in front of your relatives, embarrassed in front of the relatives, to make a Brahmana ladies as a maid servants. You want to become your maid servants. But if you don't want Brahmana ladies to become your maid servants, fine, in front of relatives. We certainly don't want to embarrass you. Please, please. We will not go to our village, but rather remain in Vrindavan, the forest, like the presiding deities of the forest. We are not going back to home. We simply desire to perfect our lives by even a slight trace of connection with you. This is what they want. This is how they want to perfect their lives with some connection with Krishna. So attain Krishna, go back is very dangerous, very difficult. We are living in this material world, you see. We don't understand these concepts at all. So from this we understand that the Brahmanas' wives offered themselves to remain at a distance from Krishna. Yeah, from Vishnu Chakravarti, what Thakur explains this. They were happy to remain at a distance from Krishna and simply take the tulsi leaves which would have fallen from his lotus feet, lotus feet of Krishna, or be crushed by other gopis when they would meet together in wisdom. So they offered to carry these tulsi leaves upon their heads. Thus they renouncing the desire to become Krishna's intimate girlfriends or maidservants, a position they knew was difficult to achieve. The young Brahmana ladies begged to remain in the forest of Vrindavan. So even if the family members would ask, would wanting them, so we have transcended the relationship with them. Because we are seeing Krishna face to face. So we are done with it now. See, so now they're saying that our husbands, when they said, don't speak so harshly, you fulfill your promise. We abandoned our family for you. So our husbands, fathers, sons, brothers, and relatives and friends will no longer take us back. And now, how could anyone else be willing to give us shelter? Therefore, since we have thrown ourselves at lotus feet, at your lotus feet, and have no other destination, please, O chastisers of enemy, grant our desire. Don't make us go back. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur further comments on this particular verse. Okay? You have to be very careful. So very, from their very youth, see why like this? What is the attachment for this? How did they get this kind of attachment? Understand these things. This is the core of the discussion. Okay. So the Thakur says, from the very youth, from the very youth, these Brahman wives, they had heard about Lord Krishna's beauty, qualities, and sweetness. From whom? From the women folk of Vrindavan village. So they don't stay in Vrindavan village. They're staying somewhere else. But they had heard from the women folk of Vrindavan village what is Krishna's beauty, quality, and sweetness. They had not met him. Just like Mother Rukmini had not met Krishna. She had just heard about him. And from that she loved him. And she said, please take me from here, Swayamvar. Kidnap me. I'm ready to be kidnapped. Yeah? From Vidarbha, Maharashtra. So this is how it is. They did the same thing. They heard it from the women folks. So, and also from the flower ladies, you know. So the forest flowers are grown. So all these women from Vrindavan, they would pluck the flowers and sell it to other villages, you know. So when they would come to their village selling the flowers, betel nuts, and other things, they would talk about, Krishna, how beautiful it is. This is what he did. This is what he did then. This is how he does. This is what he looks like. This is what he eats. This is what he does, how he looks. They fell in love just like that with the description. Their husbands, and consequently, they always felt ecstatic love for Krishna, hearing about him, and were indifferent to their household duties, although they were married, but they were indifferent for him. Their husbands, seeing them as deviants, they are not interested in us, they doubted them. Something is going on. And they avoided dealing with them as far as possible. Because the love was like this. And now the wives of the Brahmanas were ready to formally reject their so-called families and neighbors. Now we are done, we got it. We have found it finally. We waited for so long, so many years. And out of great agitation, they were crying and placing their heads upon the Lord Krishna's lotus feet, offering obeisances. Don't ask us to go now, don't tell us to go. They begged Lord Krishna bestow upon them the benediction that he be their only destination, that he, the chastiser of enemies, subdue all their enemies, those difficulties obstructing them from attaining the Lord. So at this point in time, Lord Krishna replies, the Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, rest assured that your husbands will not be inimical toward you, nor will your fathers, brothers, sons, or relatives, or general populace. I will personally advise them in the situation. Indeed, even the demigods will express their approval. He is a super soul in everyone's heart. He can do it. Then he gives philosophy. He says this, that for you to remain in my bodily association would certainly not please people in this world, because they're married women. See, one way to see Krishna was having girlfriends and all that. But see here, his character. Those were unmarried girls. 7 years old, Krishna. He was not some 18, 16 teenager. He was 7 years old at that time. He says that you must remain, if for you to remain in my bodily association would certainly not please people in this world, nor would it be the best way for you to increase your love for me. Rather, you should fix your mind upon me, and very soon you'll achieve me. Love and separation. So, in other words, if it would be best for all around if they fixed their minds on Lord Krishna and thus went on with the process they have been practicing throughout their lives. That's what they did. They heard about Krishna, they loved Krishna, and completed their business in their family. Do that. Keep doing it. And then Krishna completes this with his final verse, which we had studied. If you remember, we had done it only a year ago. Shravanad, Darshanad, Dhyanad, Mahibhavo Anukirtanat, Na Tatha Sannikarshena, Pratiyata Tato Gruhan. See, remember this verse? Who remembers? Okay, we'll see the translation. Okay, then we'll see. Yeah. So Shravanat by hearing, Darshanat by seeing the deity form, Dhyanat by meditation, Mahi Bhavaha, Mahi means for me, Bhavaha means love, Anukirtanat, Anukirtan by chanting my names and qualities. Na tatha, no means not. Tatha, in the same way. Sannikarshena. Sannikarshena means by literal proximity. Sannikarshena, by literal proximity. Pratiyata tata gruhan. Pratiyata, return. Tata, therefore, gruhan, to your homes. We all want to love Krishna, we want to be with him, but what is he saying? He's saying us that it is by hearing about me, by seeing my deity form, meditating upon me, and chanting my names and glories, that love for me develops, not by physical proximity. Therefore, please go back to your homes. That is why Krishna even got separated from gopis and even Radharani. There are 100 years of separation. Because Radharani is because she was cursed. They were cursed by Sri Rama. But still, separation. It's called love in separation. So our sampradaya perfects love in separation because this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us. We have not attained Krishna. We are trying to attain Krishna. Shravanad, Darshanad, Dhyanad. Please repeat after me. Unmute yourself, please. Just will repeat for a couple of times. Shravanad, Darshanad,
Krishnath
Dhyanad,
Dhyanat
Mahibhavo,
Mahibhavo
Anukirtanat,
Kirtanat
Na Tatha,
Natha
Sannikarshena,
Sannikarshena
Pratiyat Tato Gruhan,
Priyatadagruhan
once again, Shravanat, Darshanat, Dhyanat.
Shravanad Darshanad Dhyanad
See, when we are singing, the T becomes a D. Shravanad, Darshanad, Dhyanan.
Shravanad Darshanad Dhyanad
Mahibhavo Anukirtanat,
Mahibhavo
Mahibhavo
Kirtanat
Anukirtanad
Na Tatha Sannikarshena.
Natha
Natatha Sannikarshena
Pratiyat Tato Gruhan.
Pratiyat
Pratiyatadagruhan
10,
Grahat
20, 10, 23, 33. Okay, I will send these words if you want to. Don't search out, it's got a different meaning. So I will send it to you if you want to. No problem. Okay, so the what towards Salonis is by hearing, by seeing the deity form, by meditating, by meditation, for me, love, by chanting my names and qualities, not in the same way by literal proximity, return therefore to your homes. So it is by hearing about me, seeing my deity form, and meditating upon me, and chanting my glories name, my glories, that love for me develops, not by physical proximity. Love doesn't develop by physical proximity. Therefore, please go back to your homes. So it is very important that we follow the instructions given by our Guru. Not that physical proximity is important, but following the instructions is very important. So whatever you learn in the program, try to follow. Whatever your mentors, the Shiksha Gurus, they teach you, follow them. Their proximity increases. Ultimately, we are all trying to be devotees of Krishna in this process. Mahaprabhu's mission, inspiring this mission. Thank you. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Now, I would like to please give your points and realizations. Hare Krishna. For on both the chapters, both the points, yeah, please.
Hare Krishna Babuji.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhu, Her Grace Purn Pragya Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Smarpan Krishna Prabhu for organizing this class. And thank you, Prabhuji, very nectarian class and explanation of pastimes of Krishna. So, yeah, so I noted down some points, Prabhuji. So, in first class, the very first point that I understood is that you explained how mind of a devotee, the forest of Vrindavan is resembling the clear mind of a devotee, where his constant remembrance of Krishna is there. And the verse that Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, so where he's free from all karma and jnana. So that's how the mind of a devotee should be. Um, and and when we can remember Krishna constantly, if we have that. And Vrindavan forest is resembling this. Um, and the second point was that due to the impersonalism, you know, um, they uh, they got this body of trees, where they stand stationary um, because of that impersonalism. Because impersonal philosophy is also it's not like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said that impersonalism is like spiritual suicide. So yeah, so impersonalism, due to that, they got these bodies of trees. They just standing still, one place, and and Krishna is a one Mali. He's tending forest. He got he's wearing beautiful forest flowers garlands. And he just, yeah, he roams in forest of Vrindavan, and all the trees and all the bees and everything is followed him. And another point that I realized, probably, that you told the explanation of Madhava. There are four meanings of Madhava. I knew the first one, that the husband of goddess of fortune, and the other ones like who enjoy the conjugal rasa, Madhu, and the third one is who comes in the dynasty of Madhu, and fourth is who is like a spring season. When Krishna entered the forest, it's like spring season there. So these are the few points from the first class, probably, that I realized. And from the second, there are heaps of other points from the second class. The second one is the first is that follow the instructions as it told. Like when we got the instructions from our seniors or Guru Maharaj, so we try to follow, not subtracting or adding anything in it, because that's very important. And this instruction that Prabhuji, you explained that before also. I remember that a long time ago in Newlin there was a program, and you told that instruction. And yeah, I remember that you had to follow the instructions as it is from our seniors, because they know the things, they know the point of view, how they're organizing things. And if we try to change it, it's not go well. It's go, sometimes you're ruining things. So it's very, very important how we take and understand and follow the instructions as it is. Um, another point is the gopi. The meaning of another meaning of gopi. You explained that's from who receives Krishna with all their senses. So who drink this nectar of Krishna from all their senses. So yeah, that's and then another point was that wives of Brahmanas, they how they felt oneness with through even they are still separate. because of this love, deep love for Krishna. And this is not like emotional platform, as you explained, that is not emotional. It is through the how they heard or hearing about Krishna from since childhood, from flower ladies, from other folk um, things. But and due to that, we develop this deep attachment with Krishna. So that's a very important instruction, Prabhuji, to so we can keep hearing, keep studying about Krishna, so we can also develop this attachment, develop this love, and in the end, that this verse about Shravanam, like we um, not it's not important to be close proximity, but when we hear and meditate, then we can develop this love in separation. And that's what's the mood of our sampradaya, our parampara, that we try to follow. So we haven't attained Krishna, we try to attain Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. So these are the few points. Thank you very much, Krishna.
Yes, so thank you, Hare Krishna. And also with the instructions part, we tell you to say, we give you all information.
Yeah.
It is my personal experience that if we have multiple sources of information and knowledge, we may get very confused, with a good chance. And I've seen it. So far, my experience is 100 out of 100 times. Those people or devotees who have got multi sources of information, they remain in that place. I've said this many, many times in the past. Now, even with our own Guru Maharaj, our own Maharaj's disciples and all. So, what information we give, if you stick to that, it is beneficial. If you jump from here, there, information this, that, you'll get confused. But it's up to you. You can do whatever you want to do. Of course, you can take permission and do. So on case by case, you may say, okay, no problem, you can do. But don't think, okay, I'll do myself here and do here and do this here and there. Information is there. Then what are you doing? You see, it is like this that we take time and measure the portion of food that we offer to the cows who are in our care. Yeah, we're talking about cows. Just say, so what kind of grass is offered? How much nutrition is given? What is the stage of this particular cow? What nutrition this cow requires? Vitamin B, A, B, C. That cow requires D, C, E. So we give this kind of nutrition to the cow. But if the cow starts to eat from here also, there also, there also, there also, we have no control. So then what is the nutritional value? We have no control. The cow is up to them. This is how it is. And nobody has taught me this. I'm telling you. I have learned it my own self. It has helped me, so I'm sharing in our teaching programs. That's why I restrict my information, and there also because Prabhupada's teachings are for everybody. Same teachings, but still it is different. And the same way, the teachings which are there of Guru Maharaj also for everybody. But if you have to be very careful when you're reaching from what is needed, what is not. So verify and you can do. On your own, if you're going to do, it's up to you. Keep your good luck. As our servant is a servant, we just want you to remember Krishna. So if you feel okay, we feel this way. This is how you remember Krishna, no problem. Please remember Krishna. But this is not how we have taught you. But that's fine. This is called preaching. We have to drink poison at every stage. You see? It's voluntary, no? This is how it is. It is a very, very difficult thing. Because ultimately the same person will come and bite you because he's got confused information. From the same person speaking, confused information. You see? Yeah. So that's very nice. I just wanted to elaborate that point, about instructions, the quality. This is up to you. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Ambarisa Prabhuji, for nice lecture. Very elaborating and very nectarious. Thank you, Purnabhadra Devdashi Mataji, and thank you, Krishna Samarpan Krishna Das Prabhu. Thank you, Sanjay Prabhu, for your nice realization. Actually, a lot of points actually to understand from this pastime of Lord Balram and Lord Krishna. And especially, Ambarisa Prabhuji mentioned about when lords run away from tigers and lions, glorifying uh, the cowherd boys, and personally massaging Lord Balram by Lord Krishna. So that understand that actually Lord is not afraid of anyone, but sometimes he gives like an happiness to the weak people, and also massaging his brother. That shows that he's got a sweet humility and playing to increase his devotees' love. Even sometimes Lord acts in different way, but that gives a like happiness to his devotees. What I understand that I should not ashamed of serving to others, or I should not think that I'm small, and I should not ashamed of appearing a small if it is brings happiness to others. So that's one should I should realize that I should serve that, not thinking that I'm big or I'm small, or one should love, one should serve with love. Also, Krishna is the supreme Lord, and when can serve his brother with love, then I should serve others with humility in every relationship, not only with the devotees or everyone. We should think that everyone, Amrish Prabhu always mentioned that one should see Lord in everywhere, nature, beasts, animals. If that understands, if that comes in our mind, then you are indirectly serving the Krishna. Also, the what I noted point is that real teaches greatness is not in expecting service from others, but in serving them with humble heart. So I should, in real life, I should not think that it's too important, but serve someone. When Krishna is serving, uh, there is a Lord Krishna, he's serving his friends, cowherd boys, and everyone. So I should also follow that. Uh, Also, when the second part, when we realize that the highest duty is to fully trust Lord Krishna. Sarvadharman Parityajya. So let's go of my unnecessarily fears, doubts, and complicated the plans. Simply depend on Krishna and get the protection and guidance from the devotees. Surrender is really very important. When Brahmana's wife, when they wanted to, they didn't want to leave the Lord Krishna, so Lord advises that he, you just go back and go back to your house. Everyone will look after you. And Lord, by that, the grant our desire, Lord, actually, He fulfill our desires, not only by seeing, but we have to have the faith and devotion and serving. If we can't meditate sincerely, in even separation, the deep longing, I mean, even though we can't see Lord, but if you are meditating and chanting Lord continuously, then we can feel that we are closer to the Lord. So these are the points I realized. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu. I guess Amrish Prabhu, Harkesh Purnimaga Devi Dasi Mataji, and Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, devotees. I was I was thinking that why Amrish Prabhu is giving such a class on Lord Balram's appearance day. Anyway, happy Lord Balram appearance day to all of you again. So that was my point to ponder. That okay, when we started with the discussion that the pastimes of Lord Balram and Krishna in the forest, and the description of forest was is like means it's unfathomable. We just cannot imagine because we have not seen forest. We have been to picnic spots, we have been to parks and all those things, but we have not seen that forest. But we can feel it. So that was very nicely described by Amrish Prabhu. And this is the quality of Amrish Prabhu. I still try to struggle to actually get into this Vrindavan pastimes. That how the life is inside Vrindavan. So I don't know how much you all understood, but that's the main point, that we understand what happens, what kind of feeling, what kind of relationship, and that was very special today. And one point which Prabhuji I have not understood properly, or maybe have understood, that you said that forest of mind resembles clear mind, whereas how can a forest resemble a clear mind where the mind business is thinking, willing, and experiencing? So I don't know if I'm on the same means I've understood or not, but this is where I got stuck. That how can, but I do understand if the mind is as clean as a forest where there is no pollution, means now we go to forest, you find flies, you find this, you find that, you find all kinds of insects. You cannot even sit there. You have to come back. But you have said, so if that point you can clarify after my realization, that will be very helpful to me, because mind and forest two different things. But of course, you're talking about polycleanliness. And the other point which you said, which is very, which I strongly believe, is that constant remembrance of Krishna is being in Vrindavan. That you very nicely described, that constant remembrance. So we need to find a way that how we remember Krishna. And of course, in a way so that it's not mental concoction. It's in a way that it makes sense. You also said that service in your capacity. And we can service Krishna in your capacity, and everybody's capacity is different. Everybody's intelligence is different. Everybody's mood different, and probably it is because everybody's conditioning is different. And that's exactly what we try to understand, our constitutional position, how we are connected to Krishna. That's what we are trying to realize, that we are all on the journey. And the other part which was very different from what you described in the first thing, that's your quality, Prabhu. Only you can do it. When you got two extreme, North Pole and South Pole, you bring them together. So where Krishna is giving instruction to those Brahmana's wife, and also that why should they go back? The point which I have picked up is that when Krishna says that the pure devotee of Lord Krishna is, or it is, which you mentioned actually, is never inimical to anyone, nor can any sane person be an enemy of a pure devotee. Transcendent love for me does not depend upon bodily connection. So these are words, but probably we need to meditate and we need to understand this. And Krishna said further, as you said, but further, whose mind is always absorbed in me will surely very soon come to me. And then you very nicely close that discussion with that verse from Bhagavatam. And why they should go back, that was very important, which I have written, is you said that why they should go back. So that wives go back so that they can perform according to Vedic principle. Religious rituals must be executed by the husband and wife together. This is something which is fundamentally getting diluted in the modern world. I means these young boys and young girls, even today I was reading somewhere, they don't want to get married. They don't see any purpose in getting married. Why do we get married? This is a prevalent problem. So this is the solution which you have given today. But as you described uh, about being a female in what the position society, that's also very special about you, bro. Thank you for your class and thank you for your wonderful discussion, bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. I don't require any glory. I don't qualify for any glorification. It is all Srila Gurudev's excellent Father's mercy. If there's any value, the value is by Guru Maharaj's excellent Father's mercy. I'm all valueless. Now, the point which you had asked the question about the forest resemble the mind of a pure devotee. There are two answers to this. That's a very good point. So that's why I refer two different things. So one has to study these scriptures a little carefully. That's why a couple of times I said we have to be very careful upon this, what I'm going to speak now. So one is the point which has been given in one of the parts where Prabhupada, where it is mentioned that when Krishna enters Vrindavan forest, it automatically resembles a heavenly place. This is reference here. Everything becomes very sharp, and it's like springtime, even during pure heat time also. So, because the presence of Krishna makes it transcendental. So that is how is one explanation to this point. Second, in the verse, it is mentioned that it is the lakes in Vrindavan forest are resembling the mind of a pure mind. Yeah. So there are two different explanations given on this. Yeah. And we follow both on this. But I emphasize upon this first point because that is where Prabhupada is given this point. Prabhupada did not distinguish between the lake, which is mentioned in the verse. All the verse clearly mentions about the lake. The Prabhupada speaks about the Vrindavan forest, which has got lakes in it. Yeah. And that is how, in the third point, it is mentioned that when Krishna enters, it is this. The response. So because the presence of Krishna, Vrindavan is Vrindavan. And Krishna will never exit Vrindavan. As we understand this point philosophically, that when Krishna comes from Golok Vrindavan, he comes from only Vrindavan. That's it. When he went to Mathura, it was not Krishna. Krishna remained Krishna. When he went to Jagannath Puri, is Purushottam. Is in the form of Purushottam. When he went to Dwarka, is Vaman Dev. But he remains in Vrindavan. So that is the reason of Vrindavan forest resembles a pure devotee. Because a pure devotee's mind dwells in Vrindavan. So it's not ordinary forest. This is place where Krishna resides, his personal dham, his forest, his home. And that's why, because a pure devotee's mind is only about Krishna, and Krishna is in Vrindavan forest. This is how it is. Is that okay? Is this point clear?
Yes, bro, this is one side of the explanation. The other side is that you said the forest becomes like mind, no? The one where it is clean,
Yeah,
clean.
the Vrindavan forest.
Yeah,
Actually,
Vrindavan forest.
Vrindavan forest only, because Krishna is there.
So means when we have got a clean mind, does it
Then
becomes
our
like
mind becomes like Vrindavan forest. That's what it means. Because Vrindavan forest is where Vrindavan is. Vrindavan Gaon is in the forest. You see? So that's why even we just took the examples of the wives of the Brahmanas, So they said we would like to live in Vrindavan only, in the forest. You please go to your village. We live here. I will take because you'll walk around here, we'll take the tulsi leaves, put on our head. Yeah. So that is that point of explanation. Because this is where Krishna moves around. It's Vrindavan. There's another very deep pastime because it requires a long conversation, so I've not yet spoken about it. We stopped at with Lord Brahma, when he steals the cowherd boys, So we have discussed that part. The next part is super beautiful, nectar, and a lot of philosophy of that. In there, Lord Brahma at the end says the same thing that I would like to become a grass in Vrindavan forest. A grass in the Vrindavan forest. He wants to say that, you see. So it's a question about Vrindavan forest, not normal forest. Is that okay?
Prabhu. I have to meditate and think. But I've read this chapter before also,
Yeah.
Deliverance Wives of the Brahmanas. But probably I got a different vision to that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Hare Krishna. But nice question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhu, Hare Grace Punpagya Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji, for actually for this wonderful pastime. It was very nectarian, actually. As it is, as devotees previously mentioned, is like watching a movie. The way you describe, everything actually stand in front of us. So thank you very much for that. So I made quite a few points. Actually, I still try to actually digest them. Actually, what I can actually realize from all those points. So the first one, actually, you described how actually Krishna and Balaram, as a, they have taken the responsibility of becoming a cowherd boys, and how they used to actually go to the Vrindavan forest with the thousands and millions of cows. Actually how they used to keep the cows in front, how used to detain, and actually the description about the dust actually coming from the cow's hoops, getting into the actually locks of hairs of Krishna, and how actually others realize how far Krishna has gone from the dust, clouds, all those things. It's very beautifully described. And thank you actually, Sopan Prabhuji, Sanju Prabhuji, and Avinash Prabhu for their very nice realizations as well. And I was thinking that actually this pastime, especially in the Vrindavan forest, the interaction of Krishna and how Krishna is serving, glorifying Lord Balram, how actually Krishna is serving Lord Balram, and how all the Gopas are serving Krishna. So the vivid descriptions are given, and the one point you said that no living entity in Vrindavan is ordinary, so it's not ordinary people, who are interacting with Krishna. So everyone actually they have qualified for to be there, to be take part in this pastime. So I was meditating on this point, and you also mentioned that actually the same. I think this was discussed. The how's the actually the clear mind of a sage, it resembles actually the Vrindavan forest, full of actually uh, memories of Krishna, uh, and how actually when Krishna started glorifying Balram, so that was very uh, nectarian to hear as well, that how Lord Balram was walking, and actually the trees, they're bending down, and they're actually the twigs and branches touching the floor of a forest, so as it is, they are actually offering their obeisances to Lord Balram, and the point about actually the link to those trees, the impersonalist. So that is a philosophical point there. So yes, actually, sometimes it seemed like they have been punished to be stand there like a tree. But however, because they may be impersonalist and their realization, they never accepted Krishna as a supreme person. So maybe Krishna is actually kind of fulfilling their desires, by giving that life in a trees, and they're actually also taking advantage of their position in being in Vrindavan, as you said, that offering obeisances to Lord Balram and Krishna, and they try to drive away that actually ignorance of being impersonalist. So again, opportunity is given there. So that point I was thinking, how actually impersonalists, how they actually means even they realize the Brahman, but they are actually still giving the place, Vrindavan as a tree. So it's very interesting. Sanjay Prabhu also mentioned that actually, being Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that actually becoming Mayavadi means like spiritual suicide. So even I remember, I think previous classes you mentioned that by becoming impersonalist or Mayavadi, that Srila Prabhupada actually mentioned this point that Kaivalya, that actually this is a place, actually where they go. That's the same place is offered to the actually the demons who are killed by Krishna. So, and here we see that actually the impersonal also get the position of a trees in Krishna's pastime. So it's a very interesting point for me to actually think. Sometimes they go to the place where the demons are going, killed by Krishna, and sometimes also they get position of a trees in a pastime. So maybe there may be different grades of impersonalism again. I do not know. Maybe I like the clarification on that point. And also, actually, the other living entities, how you describe the drones, they are buzzing around. They are actually, they must be the devotees from the past life, you said. So they got that opportunity to actually being in a proximity of Lord Balram and Krishna. And they actually refuse to leave their association. They're always buzzing around. The peacocks, they're dancing in ecstasy. The deers, is you mentioned their behavior is just like a gopis, and they're welcoming them with a great affection. The cuckoos, they're appreciating their presence as they're in their own home and welcoming them in the forest, as per their capacity, they are glorifying them and receiving them with honor. So, as you said, that no one in the Vrindavan is ordinary, so everyone must have some very pious past, they must be devotees in the past, their minds must have been totally purified, so they got their position to be there with the Krishna. And also where you said that actually in the Vrindavan, actually the feet of Balaram and Krishna, they're actually touching, the actually Vrindavan land, and also the grass and the twigs, whatever there is on the ground, which is actually growing there. So they are very fortunate, actually. Also the Vrindavan land become very pious, and when they touch their feet, they are becoming glorified. So yes, actually, it's a very fortunate position that actually, they actually uh, fortunate enough to have the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna and Lord Balram. I also remember this point from the past where you actually explaining this word, Jaiti Tek Dikam, where you mentioned the point. Guru Maharaj made, I think it was instruction of Guru Maharaj that he said that just by actually touching the feet of Krishna, the land of Vrindavan is glorified. So if you become a devotee and glorify Krishna, why you are not glorified? So it's very interesting point. When I heard that land can become glorified by just touch of Krishna. So if you actually engage, yourself, make your life full of Krishna, then obviously, you will become purified, and glorification is maybe secondary benefit. As you can say, the pure devotees are always glorified. And the gopis you mentioned, they are the most glorious. They both actually enjoying that pastime with a great satisfaction. And the gopas, who are actually accompanying them, they are singing, imitating the other insects, and they're dancing like a peacocks. And Krishna is also, you mentioned, they sometimes imitate, actually the peacocks dancing or the buzzing of a bees. So he's imitating, and actually gopas are actually glorifying them. So actually means I do not really understand what is the deeper meaning behind them, but actually it's very, the every intricate detail is actually described in this pastime. It's not like that, oh, Krishna and Balaram is going in the forest enjoying with the friends, maybe sound very ordinary, but this pastime sounds very actually ecstatic to hear. The And where you mentioned that actually when Balaram, he get actually bit fatigued and he used to lie down, on the, and sometimes he put his head in the lap of the Gopas, and Krishna very eagerly actually massage his feet, so as an elder brother. So that's pastime, actually is very nice as well, that Krishna is being supreme, actually serving actually Lord Balram. But what we learn as a Balram is actually he's the epitome of actually servitude, actually is full of service attitude, what we learned, in the past, that is always engaged in various forms serving Krishna. But here Krishna is actually serving Balaram, so he's reciprocating. That's what I actually try to actually understand this pastime as well. And Krishna sometime, when he also get fatigued, he used to also rest under the trees, and all the gopas, they used to collect the twigs and all the grass, soft grass, to make a pillow for Krishna or sometimes Krishna sleep in the lap of a Gopas, So all these things, actually sounds very, is good to hear. But actually, when you think from philosophical point, as you actually describe in the next pastime, actually the proud Brahmanas, So here also, actually, yes, actually they are offering the twigs and grass, but actually they are offering with the love. So Krishna is accepting that, So yes, as Srila Prabhupada always said, to do bhakti, you don't really need great wealth, actually, you don't really need anything from this material world. Anything that can be offered with the love is accepted by Krishna. Uh, Sanjay Prabhu already actually discussed, the five meanings of Madhav, so I won't dwell on that one. But also you mentioned the Vrindavan forest is giving the pleasure to all the five senses, how the bird swinging, to the airs, or the wind is carrying the sweet, actually the aroma to the tongue maybe, and they're faithfully serving, and the fragrance of lotus flower to the nostrils, So that was actually, I made a point of that, actually how that was actually, described in that pastime. So the pure devotees, you mentioned that very, very important, that actually because they can identify Krishna. So which is very important. I was actually thinking on that point. Yes, because even Krishna comes and stand in front of us in some different avatar, we may not realize or recognize, but pure devotees, because of their devotion and purity, they can identify Krishna. So just in reference to the next, actually, the pastime with the proud Brahmanas, so where actually when Krishna, they Balram, they're hungry and they actually went to those Brahmanas and requested the food, they refused it, So maybe they are not actually purified enough to recognize that actually Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. However, their wives, actually because they heard their pastimes, actually from the very young age, and their pastimes and qualities, and they fell in love with Krishna. So maybe they are actually maybe at the higher stage, they recognize who the Krishna and Balram is, and they were happily, actually they give the food for them, actually went to see them. And you also mentioned that it's not very easy to touch the feet of Krishna. What to speak of Krishna, even actually when we try to touch the feet of a pure devotee, they do not allow. So yeah, that is also very important. Actually, the mercy can be only given, if you're actually qualified to, So yes. And in the next pastime, actually, I was meditating on that, and that is actually, as you said, there's a Bhagavad Gita instruction that was pretty much, you can see that in practice, that actually the story, the pastime, uh, where I was thinking the couple of things that you said, that the one point that when the wives of the actually Brahmanas, they realize that actually Krishna and Balram, they are in forest, and they have requested food, So they are very eagerly, they actually give away the food, and also they went to see them, despite there is a resistance from the husbands or a father or their actually relatives. They given up everything to go and see Krishna. So as you said, they actually Krishna's instruction, Sarva Dharman Parityaj, you give up all kind of religion, and you actually just surrender to Krishna. But actually, even I was thinking that even there is opportunity for us, can we leave everything behind and just go, refuse, actually give up our family, give up all the relationship, everything we have, and we just go to the Krishna, not knowing whether Krishna will accept us or not, So it's interesting, actually, very important point for me to ponder about. That yes, they are actually purified, they are actually pure devotees, so they give up everything without fear, and they actually try to seek the shelter of Krishna. So that actually one point actually really made me think, can we give up, if there is even opportunity that you can actually go and see Krishna? So are we still attached to our material things? And the second point, actually, how there is a conversation between the wives of the proud Brahmanas and Krishna. And Krishna actually requests them to go back, and he assures them that actually their family members will accept them, even actually the other people in the society will accept them. There is no problem, but they refuse. And they actually requested them to actually fulfill your promise, what you promise in Bhagavad Gita, that you will always protect your devotees. And once you attain to the lotus feet of Krishna, you never go back to material world again. So so these are all the, actually I realize that all this instruction in Bhagavad Gita, so this is put into practice here. So very actually many points to learn actually in this pastime. And also the point from the Shishtashtakam, you mentioned that actually the exhibition of that quality of oneness, So even actually they embrace Krishna in their heart to their content, to their heart's content. So you actually mentioned that technical point that the wives did not lose their identity. Neither Krishna actually lost his identity. So maybe actually that was in reference to the impersonalism, that they actually tried to become one with the Lord, after they actually attain the liberation. So here, actually, that point is very much clarified, that no one lose the identity, actually. But actually, even that actually, the point of oneness that you mentioned from the Sishtashtam last instruction. So that is actually, I'm still have to think over it, actually, what to be realized. And so yeah, there are many still points, Prabhuji, but actually I will stop here. So yes, Prabhuji, I will still need time to think over all these points. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. The last is where Krishna can handle me roughly by his embrace. He still remains my worshipful Lord unconditionally. He can do whatever he wants to do with me. People may laugh, may cry. Say, do you know Krishna or not? Yes, I don't. I know Krishna, but if Krishna knows me or not, I don't know. He said, you're mad. I said, yes, absolutely right. I'm happy remembering Krishna. I do not think, I do not force Krishna to remember me because I'm not eligible to Krishna to remember me. But I'm satisfied with remembering Krishna. And he's so kind that his words, his name is helping me to remember him. It reciprocates. His energies are working. See, this is devotion service actually. Yeah, very nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for the nice realizations, as usual. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the nice nectarian classes. So, yeah, I am actually still trying to come back from that place where you took us to, So, it's hard to come back from there. It was very nicely described. And as each of the description was coming, I was just trying to meditate, whether it be Krishna and Balaram entering the forest, and then how each and every entity existing there is trying to serve Lord Krishna, whether it be the grass, the flowers, the bees, the wind, the fragrance in the wind, the drones, the peacocks, the bees, the cuckoos. And I was thinking that we are at that point. I was thinking that Srila Prabhupada says that you're in this human form, so it's the best form for you, as in consciousness, to develop Krishna consciousness. But here we see, obviously, because they are from Vrindavan forest, and just by the existence of the Lord, everything is purified. The opportunity is there, and I was thinking that is how we should make our lives. We should seek that opportunity to serve Lord Krishna always, and not look at the limitations of our existence. And then I was thinking about the point where Lord Krishna walks barefoot in Vrindavan, and so many devotees also do the same. And it's made quite a few points actually. So on the point of the mind of the devotees, resemblance of Vrindavan. So I was thinking that how the presence of Krishna purifies everything. So in our mind also, if there's presence of Krishna, not only in our hearts, then how we can purify ourselves by constantly remembering Krishna. And on the point of remembering Krishna, I was thinking that how the description was given about till the point where they could see that Lord Krishna is, the dust is kind of there because of the walking, and then they know now that Krishna has gone further away or of their vision. And then they were also thinking of his return, that he has come from this side, so he's going to come from the same side or the other side. So the thought of Lord Krishna never left them. The remembrance never left them. And I was thinking that, just comparing that, for me, I have to remind myself to remember Krishna. I have to tell myself that I have to constantly remember Krishna. So it should come naturally. That position is what we want to achieve. At least I want to achieve that. Thinking about Krishna should come naturally. It should not be that now I'm thinking of Krishna and I've done all my things. Now I'm thinking of Krishna. Now this is happening. So there should be no conditions. They had no conditions. A constant remembrance of Krishna. That is something that we want to achieve. I'll just quickly touch base upon the Brahmanas' wives. I think my points have gone a bit here and there, so I might come back to some points again. So the Brahmanas' wives, and so they left everything, and at that point of time, they are thinking that. So we mentioned that was based on the verse from Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Tam Sarvapapibhi Mokshasmin Masucham. And I was thinking, how these things are transcendental, because Lord Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita that these instructions I have given before. So here is a proof, because just in timeline, like just thinking, from a perspective of preaching, or somebody says, oh, how can that be? Because Lord Krishna was young at that time, but the Bhagavad Gita instructions were afterwards. So how did they know, the Brahmana's wife know about this instruction? But this is the thing, that these instructions were already existing, right? And yeah, so I just that was one point that came to my mind. And then on the point of accepting the instructions, not adding or subtracting anything when you receive the instructions. So the most important part in that is who is giving you the instruction. I think that is very important. Once you establish that the person, or the personality that you're receiving the instruction from is important, then that applies there, because sometimes that could be misconstrued. And then all the principles of understanding, and then taking the instructions as it is. And then the instruction, following the instructions, like not have, if there is multiple sources of information, then that can actually put us into a confused state of mind. And it's very easy to understand when we are studying also. Even in your material life, if you want to do something in life, and if you're taking instructions from a lot of people, it can definitely confuse you. So you need to decide who you want to take your instructions from. That's very important, I think. And then not only to take the instructions that suit us. So I think in that context, I have seen this personally, that instructions are always given in context. Like Srila Prabhupada has given so many instructions, and sometimes you may find, as just a neophyte, person that, oh, this instruction is different to that instruction, and but the scenario is different. So it's time, place, circumstance. So I think that it's very important. Like in English literature, we had something called reference to context. So it's very important to have the context of the instruction also. Just not the instruction itself, that this instruction suits me, or I can twist it and turn it to suit my comfort level. That's not how instructions are taken. That instruction can be uncomfortable for us and still we take it. And that is proved by the Brahmana's wives. They left everything. They went to Lord Krishna. They didn't know what is going to happen. But based on Krishna's promise that, one who surrenders unto me, I will protect them. But what is your definition of protection? What they thought was, now we are going to go there. We are not going to go back. But Lord Krishna is asking him to go back. So taking that instruction, accepting Krishna's plan, and then Krishna giving the explanation, why. So his own position, their position, and then Krishna is, I'm just thinking, the negotiation, negotiation skills of the Brahmana wives and Krishna. And of course, who can win? If you are going to negotiate with Krishna, who is going to win? But how nicely Krishna is explaining to them. And then I was thinking, now, they have already met Lord Krishna. They have already realized that by surrendering to Lord Krishna, they don't have to do anything else. And Lord Krishna has presented himself in front of them. They are in that beautiful position. So now they, is this positioning that as a devotee, if we are put into that position, then we should not have our expectations. I want this. I want to be able to do this. In our devotional service, we have, oh, I like to do this. I don't like to do. No, that's not how devotional service is performed. And so I was thinking, whatever is the plan of Krishna, we have to accept. And what was the plan of Krishna? You go back to your position and you do your duties, prescribed duties, along with your husbands. And then that way, you will be able to realize me. So when are we ready to accept Krishna's plan? We have, I always, personally, I think, we have we read the scriptures, and so we understand what we are supposed to do and how we are supposed to behave and everything. But are we ready to accept what is Krishna's plan? And then that instruction of Srila Gurudev, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, just the quote that we had a few days back about, if you want to, be in Vrindavan, then create that Vrindavan. So that is the instruction I felt was very relevant to this point, that you don't have to, there's a lot of misconception of how you can do your devotional service or where you need to be able to do your devotional service. But actually there's no restriction. There is no, there should not be any restriction for doing a devotional service. So that, I think, is the beauty of how Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada has explained how we can do our devotional service. Yeah, and just that last point, that the pure devotees can identify Lord Krishna. So that is a benefit, of being in association of pure devotees. Srila Prabhupada has helped us identify Lord Krishna by giving us very clear-cut instructions. Today, whoever is really truly following Srila Prabhupada, I was thinking, will never be fooled by some incarnation or whatever it is, that bogus things. It is impossible. That is the power of the pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada is, by his instructions, by his teachings, given us that ability to be able to identify in in the true sense. So yeah, just on that note, thanking Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev for their instructions and their teachings. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All of you are making big notes and writing very nice. I don't know what is the difference today. It's very good, very good. Please, please, more.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhuji and Hare Krishna, His Grace Krishna Samarpana Krishna Prabhu and Hare Krishna Purna Pragya Mataji. Thank you very much, Amrish Prabhuji, for narrating and taking these two classes is really nice. I'm sure it's so much hard work behind this. So most of the points already, all the devotees are covered, and I will try my best to say a few things. So when you were narrating, Prabhuji, this story, I remember when I was watching Lord Krishna's, cartoon movie with Navina when she was young, and I used to see some parts, but watching the movie and listening this class is much different because this has a philosophical background behind this class. So it's good to good the understanding of these pastimes is really like easy through this lecture. So when Krishna was saying to the Lord Balaram that they are glorifying, everybody is glorifying you, and the Krishna is saying to Balaram that you are superior to all of us, and even demigods are worshipping you all. Worshipping you, and all the trees and flowers are trying to touch your lotus feet. The drones and peacocks are dancing, and deers is just like the gopis, and they are welcoming you with the great affection and all. So those are really nice pastime. And you mentioned that they are welcoming you as their good capacity. So what I understood is, we should serve Krishna as much as we can, so our good capacity, we should give our best to serve Krishna, to serve Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, no matter in what state we are. So even the trees and the twigs and the leaves, everyone is serving to them, and we are the human beings, and we should take the advantages of being a human being because we have more understanding. So we should serve to Krishna with love. Then I wrote the points that you mentioned about meanings of Madhav, 4 points of meanings of Madhav. The Krishna is the law, the husband of fortune, and then he enjoys conjugal rasa. Then his Madhav is the spring session, like a spring session called as Madhav, and he enjoys the pastime of Madhu. Also, there is one point, Prabhuji, that I did not understand properly. That word is Godham. So what I understood about the Godham is identifying Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead when Krishna and Balaram appears as a normal person. So I'm not sure it is correct or it's a right or wrong. But you mentioned that word Godham. And then from the second class, how one should worship Krishna in that, as already Mataji mentioned, and her realization that when the Brahmana's wives, they come to see Krishna, and they don't want to go back, but and they followed Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Sarvadharman Parityajam, even if they are not allowed, to leave the house, or they should be always under the shelter of their father or husband or the elder son, but they still come because they heard so much about the Krishna. So they wanted to see Krishna, and then when Krishna asked them what, how can ask, what can I do for you? So Krishna is so kind, his supreme personality of Godhead, still he is asking to them that what can I do for you? So when the Brahmana's wives were not they're saying that how come you're asking us to go back, because our family members will not be accepted. But Krishna is the one who, supreme personality of Godhead, that he assures that no, you go to do your duties, and they will accept you. And then that's the time, Prabhuji, you mention about the verse Shravanad, Darshanad, Dhyanad. I did not get chance to write full verse, but I understood that, by chanting in the same way, by hearing and seeing and chanting, so you can go to return to your home. That's what Krishna is mentioning there. And you mentioned about the highest perfection, that is everyone loving Krishna, but realization is depend on understanding of Krishna. The process of surrendering Krishna is it's very auspicious. So these are the points I have um, noted from this class. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, again for your nice class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. Now you would ask a question regarding Gudham. It's Gudham.
Okay. Yeah.
So it is in the verse which says that last line is Gudham vane api na jahati anaghatma devam. So Gudham means hidden in Sanskrit. So it is defined, it is more clarified to say the word Gudham means that it indicates that although Krishna and Balarama are the supreme absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead, they are appearing like ordinary living beings. So people can't identify them. Just all this killers and all would come and disturbance, all these things takes place. But always it's very difficult for ordinary human beings to see them with their material eyes, in the material world. But great sages can recognize the Lord as supreme absolute truth. That was a point which came. Yeah. So this is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because as compared to material bodies, their bodies are full of transcendental bliss, eternity, and knowledge. These are things. So not affected by temporary material miseries. Very nice. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And what's happening is Krishnadas is because we had a bit of a disturbance in the first class. So I requested Krishnadas to download the lecture, the first lecture, and edit some portions of it and upload it again. So normally the live lectures are live, immediately uploaded on the YouTube video. So it'll take he's doing it now. Just give him a few more minutes. It may come after this. So those of you who are watching this video in the future, so devotees are giving two realizations. One is the previous class, one is this class. So this class you can see. The previous class will be recorded. It will not be live recording. It will be recorded and uploaded soon. It will be the same name of Krishna and Balaram enjoying Vrindavan forest. Okay. Thank you. Now please continue. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, all the devotees, for your very nice realization. And thank you so much, Prabhu, for organizing this such wonderful classes. And today's lecture was so much nectarian that it sounds like we were watching that from our eyes. And there were so many nectarian points that we came to know today. Although we have watched all that in the past, as Ramita Mataji said, but the philosophy behind this, it's very important to learn and realize. So how Krishna and Balaram, Lord Balaram, have spent their childhood in the forest of Vrindavan, and how the whole environment was like when Krishna and Balaram was having their time together. There was so much things like these beautiful things was happening around that. There was the cows, the cows was grazing, and then they were so satisfied and happy in the association of Lord Krishna and Balaram. The grass was so nectarian, very much full of nectar for them, and the flowers was blossoming, and the trees were just wanted to touch the lotus feet of Krishna while their pastimes with Balaram in the Vrindavan. And but the most enjoyer of all this environment was Lord Balaram, because he was the very intimate friend with Krishna that time. And so Lord Balaram was a supreme enjoyer of, and everything else and everyone was so feeling so much pleasure and satisfaction that there was no need of anything else. It's just because of Krishna's mercy, for everything towards the lotus feet of Krishna. And yeah, that's what I realized from the first part of this Prabhuji. And the second part, I realized that everyone loving Krishna ultimately, but the realization is according to the advancement of the knowledge and accepting and implementation that knowledge in our lives. That although we knew all this was happening just because of the accompanying of Krishna and Balaram with all these things, but we need to realize that as long as we are in the service of Krishna, there will be all our moments will be full of pleasure, and we will be feeling complete satisfaction from inside. But as soon as we are in the clutches of outside, we just try to do something with our own, then we're definitely going to entangled. So how beautiful was this lecture explained by you, that this whole environment is just shows us that we need the mercy of Lord Balaram for the strength and potency to serve the lotus feet of Krishna. So that's my realization, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So as the others will prepare, I just want to let you know, next week, for Janmashtami Day, New Zealand time, from 9:30 onwards, we'll have the leader Sangha devotees sharing their realizations, speaking about Janmashtami and what they've learned, what we studied together in the leader Sangha program. Okay. I will not speak, they will speak. It's their class. I've done my part, of service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. His Grace Amrish Prabhuji, Her Grace Purnapaja Mataji, thank you, His Grace Krishna Sarpan Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for taking this class, and thank you, devotees, for the nice realization. Yes, Prabhuji, I have made notes for the 2 classes. And yes, Prabhuji, we all learn how Lord Krishna glorifies his devotees who glorify him. The way he praised about Lord Balram. And there were a lot of points. You started with explaining how bhakti is unmotivated and without any material motive. And it is only for the intelligent ones. Then we started with this Krishna and Balram. The way you explained about Krishna and Balram, they are enjoying in the forest. And their born age, 6 to 10 years. And they were walking barefoot. They were taking the food with their mother had prepared for them. And then you mentioned about many things. They were playing the flute, and then Krishna cows were in the front, but Krishna and Balram, they were following cows and playing flute, and everyone knows this, and everyone were knowing that Krishna and Balram they are now going to the forest, and they all were anxious and they were waiting for them. The gopis were waiting for them. All were waiting for Krishna and Balram to come back. So you also mentioned about Vrindavan means remembrance of Krishna. That how Krishna Vrindavan is Anya Abhilasha Shunyam. It all resembles this clear mind of devotee, thus situated within your mind. And you also mentioned about the Vrindavan is described as so wonderful that I also have never thought about it. And we have also experienced this in Vrindavan when we all went to Vrindavan. And you mentioned, Prabhuji, that no one is ordinary here, and you should be very careful in dealing with them. And now I understood the philosophical thing behind that. That how starting from the herbs, creepers, birds, animals, and their resemblance, they all were enjoying the nectarian juice of Krishna's love. They all were dancing, singing. Everything was when Krishna was in center, and everything was around Krishna. Can you mention about the trees? The lakes. This would release all types of fatigues. We all go to many of the we all try to do many things, but it was all there in Vrindavan. And we have also experienced that when we went to Vrindavan, it was something different. And then there was, you mentioned about the way flowers were bending down and touching the feet of Krishna. But then the Krishna glorified Balram, Lord Balram, how it was touching the feet of Lord Balram. And then he started praising Lord Balram, that demigods are also worship Lord Balram. And these trees, they were full of flowers. And there was so much ecstasy that they all were getting out of darkness and ignorance, which was full advancement of devotional service. Then you mentioned about Lord Krishna says that drone, they all were buzzing around. And no one can be the best master than you. And like Krishna was praising about Lord Balram, that they were chanting their glories. They must be great sages. They don't want to give up your company. Then it was mentioned about peacocks. They were dancing in great ecstasy. The deer, they were behaving like gopis because they were welcoming Lord Balram. Then cuckoos, they were receiving you with great joy. And it was so auspicious appearance of Lord Balram in their. They all were welcoming Balram with their own capacity, and they were glorifying Lord Balram. So it was Vrindavan, which was pious and fortunate by the footprints of Lord Balram. The herbs and creepers, the plants, they were touched by Lord Balram, and glorifying him. And rivers were glorifying him and glancing above. Gopis were glorifying and embracing him with his presence. It was all satisfaction along with cows and calves. You mentioned about one word, one mani, where garlands made up of forest flowers. So it was all everywhere was full of, Vrindavan was full of flowers and trees. And you have shown us there when we went there, like there were different kinds of trees, and the Goswamis used to sit on those trees. And every day they used to sit on different trees, and they were never, so that they'll not get attached to the tree as well. So I was remembering all those things when we were there in Vrindavan. And then you mentioned about Ter Kadam. They were all calling for cows, different colors of cows. And I was remembering the name of cows over there, Peely, Neely, everything, everyone was there. Then cowherd boys, how they were imitating the cuckoos and everyone. Krishna was enjoying these with cowherd boys. And he was lapping on cowherd boy's lap, like he was taking nap on cowherd boy's lap. And cowherd boys, they were massaging his legs, singing for him to so that very soon he will Krishna will like he is out of his fatigue and fatigue will go away of Krishna. But now then you also mentioned that man cheat others by becoming God. But then this is how that, like, we in this world we start become, like, people start becoming God and they cheat others. There was also mentioned about Gopashtami. We all celebrate Gopashtami, and this is the day when Krishna was promoted as a cowherd and he started taking his cows. Then there were so many things about how everyone started from herbs and animals, their resemblance and their ecstasy. It was all full of satisfaction. And it was all satisfaction in Krishna's presence. This was from part 1. And then from the part 2, how you explained about the Brahmana's wives. They all were very much satisfied when the cowherd boys came and asked about food. And Brahmana's wives were very anxious to see Krishna. They went to see Krishna in spite their family restricted them not to go. And there it was mentioned about the meaning of gopi, that through all the senses they enjoy the nectar of Krishna's love. And you explained about oneness. Krishna may act freely, devotees are in oneness with their Lord. There it was mentioned about the Krishna replied to Brahmana's wife that they are very fortunate. Everyone is loving Krishna and they are realizing as per their philosophical knowledge. The process of surrendering is auspicious. It was mentioned by you that the process of surrendering is auspicious. And Krishna, when Krishna asked Ramana's wives to return to their home and return to their home, Krishna may not know, but yeah, it was mentioned that surrender into the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. Yes, it was. And when Krishna asked Brahmana's wives to go back and help your husband, they will be pleased more. Then the way Brahmana's wife replied to them that you mentioned, Krishna, that you reciprocate to your devotees and you promise that you will take them back from this material world. And that is why surrendered into the lotus feet of Supreme Lord by Tulsi leaves. No more desire to go back and give up the lotus feet of Lord. The way it was explained, like, I really like this word, Supreme Lord by Tulsi leaves, the lotus feet of Supreme Lord by Tulsi leaves. We take those Tulsi leaves in our food and we have never realized that Tulsi leaves has so much of importance. So I was pondering into that. And then Krishna also mentioned, like, Brahmana's wife replied to them, we desire to perfect our lives with some trace with Krishna. No one will take us and give us shelter. But then Krishna mentioned that fix your mind and you will come to me. And Krishna may not know me, but I know my Krishna and I chant Krishna's name for his remembrance. So this whole thing you mentioned, and it was like, I need to, I don't want to concord on this mind, but I want to fix on those points, because for me to realize all these points is very difficult to understand, because I'm not that pure, Prabhuji. So I need to see the lecture again. I have to make the notes again, and I have to be very like, I need to understand more. Like, I am not even eligible to talk about this, but I try to do that. Thank you.
Yes, even I'm not eligible, mother, of any kind. But somehow or other, Guru Maharaj had to ask me to preach, So these topics, if you don't speak now, when will you speak, Because you're a mix of devotees, We've got very beginners, intermediates, seniors, so we're a mixed of things. So that's why all what I've spoken, it is written by Srila Prabhupada, other devotees, or acharyas. So compiling a lot of notes. So nothing is my words. I may have spoken, it's just a parrot, Just wanted to be sure all of you understand this, because we're very, very careful. That's why, where do we speak from? Why it is spoken? What is the meaning of this? Different meanings of your situations. That's why. Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Mataji can go first.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Yes, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Ambrish Prabhuji, Her Grace Purna Pragya Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samapan Krishna Das Prabhuji for arranging this class. And thank you so much, other devotees, for sharing their really nice realizations. I've also, like, a lot of important points have been covered by the devotees, but there is, like, for me to understand all of it is a very difficult thing. But I'll still try to speak whatever notes I've made. Uh, so the first point I remember Vishnu was saying that, we're living in our big apartments in the city, but if we are fortunate, then we may be living in some village, because Krishna's pastimes, all of them, and Lord Balram's pastimes are all based in the forest. But we think that we're living in, these big city apartments, and we're very opulent in that way. But they're living such simple lives, but they're like, it's the most sublime thing. And even throughout all the narrations of every pastime, of all the details, I was just thinking about this, that it involved very simple but very beautiful things, like the lilies that were decorated in Krishna's ears, and the leaves that were being used to fan Krishna as he was trying to rest, and all these things. Like, they're just, they're having they're enjoying in the most sublime and simple way. And I was thinking about this, uh, that the residents of Vrindavan, they were anxious about Krishna going to the forest, because there were a lot of animals in the forest, and the gopis were anxious that because Krishna is walking with, like, with his lotus feet barefoot on the grounds of Vrindavan, and so they were worried that they might get like, they were so, like, they were so much thinking about Krishna's inconvenience. And I was thinking that, if I only think about my inconvenience, I don't even think about the inconvenience of my seniors and the senior devotees, and let alone thinking about the inconvenience or anything, even though he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still the innocence in them, that that's very far for me to even think about or speak about. Um, and then this point that we always trying to enjoy our lives, and we're always asked to enjoy, as students and as whatever, but the supreme enjoyer is Lord Balram, and nobody can compete with him when it comes to enjoying. And this point that the fruits, the trees in the forest were so overloaded with fruits and flowers that they were bending down in humility, as if to touch Lord Krishna's and Lord Balram's feet. And this point, I was thinking about this. The Shikshashtakam 3 also mentions something similar, to say that we have to be prepared to offer respect to all others. In such a state of mind, we can chant the holy names of Krishna constantly. That this humility is very much needed. Because the trees were so loaded with fruits and everything, they were able to be this humble. They were in the presence of Krishna. Of course, there are no ordinary personalities. And this mm, this point of that the for the cuckoos, they were accepting Krishna in their home because the whole forest was their home. And that we have artificially divided the whole earth, which from the space looks just like a single globe, but there's no walls from the space. But we've created all these artificial walls, and we try to, mark our territory as like this 1 3 BHK or 1 4 BHK. But for the great sages, the whole world is their the whole world is their home, and so that's why they don't have any boundaries. But because we are because I am trying to uh, like define my territory, that is why my territory is just like the small home. But for the great sages, it's the whole world, and for these cuckoos, it's the whole forest. And this line that when Krishna is trying to glorify Lord Balram, that the hills and rivers are glorious because you are glancing upon them. I remember something similar that Guru Maharaj also said, that that all we have to do is make Krishna smile at our lives, and that then our lives also become glorious simply by Krishna's glance. And At this point that Sheetal Prabhuji also mentioned, that the Vrindavan forest was giving pleasure to all 5 senses. And we equate Vrindavan to the remembrance of Krishna. And we also, Prabhupada also says this a lot, that this pure devotional service, it is incomparable to any kind of pleasure that we'll ever feel or experience through just our material endeavors. And this, I cannot even think about the kind of pleasure that this would be, and how the great sages are so important because they know how to identify Krishna and they know how to serve him. Puna Pragya Mataji also spoke about this, and I was also thinking about the same thing, that we're so fortunate that we came in contact with Avinash Prabhu, Ambrish Prabhu, Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, who knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to serve him. And that's why I have some conception of this, at least, or at least trying to have some conception of this. Otherwise, it would be so difficult. And this was also this, that Krishna would lay down on the roots of a tree or in the lap of a friend, and we cannot sleep without our comfortable pillows, and we have to go and wash our head after we go visit like a forest, because we are dirty, and because we need this kind of thing. But Krishna would just sleep on a root of a tree, and that would be it. And for the second pastime, this point that the devotees don't care about the bodily ties when they are attracted to Krishna, the pure devotees, of course. And this is why that the wives of the Brahmanas were perfectly following the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, because they understood this point. So their attachment to Krishna was not rooted in sentimental or emotional feelings. They were rooted in scriptural understanding. And Krishna entered their heart through the eyes. I just really like this line. I, of course, don't fully absorb it, but the fact that they saw Krishna for the first time, they'd been yearning for seeing Krishna, but when they saw Krishna, Krishna entered their heart through the eyes. And also this point that when they were asking to stay in Vrindavan with Krishna, Krishna very practically said that they're staying there, for the wives of the Brahmanas to stay there, it would not be pleasing to the people in the world. And it is also not the best way for them to increase their love for him. So the best way for them is to go back to their home and remember him just as they remembered him in their earlier part of their lives. And I also remember Ambrish Prabhu discussing a similar verse, which had the phrase that sthane sthita, like you just remain where you are, and you do your service from there. And I think also that a pure devotee is pleasing to everybody, that no sane person would ever become enemies with a pure devotee, because he is not anybody's enemy. And for also this point that even for our gurus, we don't need physical proximity. which was also one of the questions that I asked in the last intermediate class, that we should only as long as we're following the instructions of our guru. Physical proximity is not needed. That's the only thing. And only by chanting about the glories of Krishna, love for him develops, not by literal and physical proximity. So yes, this is our Prabhuji. Of course, all of this is far from my realization, just words to me. But thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to hear about this. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mother. Hare Krishna. Even now, it's news for me too. All this I'm learning. I just spoke like a parrot. But all of your realization, I'm attentively listening because I'm relishing more and more knowledge. So thank you to all of you. All the devotees have shared that we're going to share. Please, it is for my benefit. Please, Hare Krishna. Please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, His Amrish Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna Mataji and His Grace Krishna Samapan Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for the class, Prabhuji, and all these detailed points about the pastimes of Krishna. So I was first of all thinking about the point that we learn so much from our scriptures, so many details, but like these are the things that we first have to digest. Then when we go to Vrindavan, we can relish it. Otherwise, we'll just be as a tourist in Vrindavan. So when we like study these things and we understand by our mentors what they actually mean, so then when we go there, then we can relate more and then we can maybe understand more. Like last time, I had no idea about nectar of instructions because like I was in beginners. But when next time maybe if we ever go to Ter Kadama, then I can like understand more about it. Like when I studied it, so like all the details that were shared, like Krishna being the supreme personality of Godhead and he is dancing like a peacock in Vrindavan. So these seems like stories to like me because I don't understand it in so much depth. Like when Krishna and Balaram, when they used to go to take their cows, and all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they were very anxious then when they will come back. So how this innocence work, because like they know they will be come back, they'll be coming, but they are so anxious about it when they will come. And like there was a lecture before that you gave on, I think it was a Gaur Purnima lecture, that they used to see the clouds of when cows were walking and the dust clouds were coming. So they used to get excited, and now Krishna and Balaram had come back. So all these points, Prabhuji, and from the part 2, I could understand that like the line was there, Pratiyato Tato Grihan. I think I have heard that lecture again when we had this discussion before. So I think Purna Pada Mataji mentioned this point that Krishna is saying to stay just where you are. And also like I think there was one chapter in Teachings of Lord Kapila when Lord Chaitanya, I think I don't remember the name of the devotee. He asked him to just stay at your home and do chanting. You don't need to go anywhere else. So I don't remember the name now, Prabhuji. So that was the instruction, and this aligns with the post that was shared few days ago, that I want to die in Vrindavan, so I create Vrindavan. Vrindavan is remembrance of Krishna. Maharaj had said this. So Krishna is himself explaining that you don't need to go anywhere else. You can just stay at your home, Pratiyato Tato Grihan, that you go to your homes, you stay where you are, and you can do chanting, you can remember Krishna at every point of our existence. So this is what I could understand from both the lectures, Suji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. And remember, there are no heavy animals in Vrindavan, killer animals. They're all devotees. But still the devotees are anxious. You see, this is how the internal potency of Krishna works, energy works. They are spellbound. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji actually like had this one question. So are there there were lions or tigers in the Vrindavan? Because are there mention of it?
There are mention of demons. Why do you worry about lion tigers? The demon as tall as the sky. Why do you worry about one lion, one tiger? Putana was like so many kilometers, miles long. Welcome to Kill Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhuji, Her Grace Purna Pragya Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhuji for organizing this nectarian classes, and all the devotees for giving this nectarian realization. As per my capacity, I have realized few points. So first point being, Prabhuji, that Lord Balram, nobody can compete with him in enjoyment. So, and we also know that Lord Balram renders service to Krishna in every form. Whenever Krishna takes part in any pastime, Lord Balram is with him, rendering service. So that's what the nectar is. When we serve Krishna, that's the best enjoyment we can get. So service to Krishna is best enjoyment. There is no competition in that enjoyment. Then as we move further, we also realize the point that Krishna said to Lord Balram that you are superior. So Krishna, being Supreme Personality of Godhead, telling Lord Balram that you are superior, and even demigods worship you. So that already proves that Lord Balram is Krishna himself. He's as good as Krishna. Then the point where Lord Krishna also mentioned that all the forest drones, peacocks, deers, everyone, and even his Gopas, all the Gopas were rendering service unto Krishna and Lord Balram with their best capacity. So it is not like we have to do so much. We have to do with our best capacity. We have to render service with our best capacity. And the second lecture where it is said that the wives of Brahmana knew Krishna before even seeing him. They knew Krishna by what they hear from the Vrindavan Vrindavan gopis, like how Krishna is, uh, how beautiful Krishna is. So that works two ways. Like a devotee will always glorify Krishna wherever he goes, and that glorification will enlighten the people who will listen. So that's the first thing, hearing Krishna, hearing about Krishna, then seeing. When the wife saw Krishna, it goes
Very good.
beyond.
Very good point. Very good point. Continue. Best.
So that what I understood, like Prabhuji ki everywhere, even, and then our mood, it was explained very well that what our mood is. Although I am not, it is not in my capacity to understand the depth of it, but loving in separation, that mood, what we follow. And in the first part of lecture, the first lecture, it was said that devotee's mind is as clear as lake, and uh, the remembrance of Krishna is Vrindavan. So even most of the devotees said this point, that remembrance of Krishna is Vrindavan. So physical association is not really, I mean, it is important, but you have to always remember Krishna, like devotees do, the pure devotees do, even at every situation. So these are few points, but there are more and more points that I need to, meditate upon. So I have made this note, so I'll keep reading it, and there are always new things coming up whenever, even while listening to realization of devotees, I got more points like what I have missed. So it is very important to hear realizations of devotees. So thank you, Prabhuji, for giving these classes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. As I said, I learned from your realization so much. Oh, very wonderful. I was like a parrot. What I spoke was complete nonsense. I'm learning more here like this. Jai Jai. All the best. Hare Krishna. Please, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the class. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhu, Her Grace Purna Prajna Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samartha Krishna Prabhu, and all the devotees for the realization. Prabhuji, I have made a few notes. Like the lecture was very depth and very hard for me to understand the feelings and the emotion. Like you described so wonderfully. I can at least like remember a little. So like Prabhuji, you start with Krishna re bhaje ei bada chatur. Like the devotees of Krishna are very intelligent and stand out. And this pastime, like you said, the pastime of Krishna is like a lotus of flowers with thousands of petals. Then we have to underneath each petal and go deep. So it's very hard. And the Prabhuji, and the point, like there were many points. So the point was there, like Sanatan Goswami give 4 definition of Madhava. Madhav is Krishna, who is husband of goddess of fortune. Madhav is who descendant in the dynasty of Madhu. Madhav is like spring season, or he enjoys the pastime in Madhu, conjugal love. So like I can recall similarly like Maharaj lecture on Jai Radha Madhav. So the lines that Maharaj, each word has got so much depth. Like we said, it's like a lotus flower of 1,000 petals. So single word has got so much meaning and so much depth that we have to be very, very intelligent to understand these pastimes. So this is my like take from the first lecture. In the second lecture, Prabhuji, where the women's like the wives of the Brahmanas, they come to Krishna. So like they did not see Krishna in their lifetime. Like they heard about Krishna from the women's or the villagers of Vrindavan. So I was having a discussion yesterday, like there was a festival. So my bhuva came for Raksha Bandhan. So we were having a discussion on the appearance of Ma Ganga lecture. Like I was sharing the notes with her. So she was telling me ki, like if I recall like 50, 60 years back when my grandfather, like her father, so in our village, like there was nothing apart from Krishna. Like people always used to talk about him. She was saying कि सब लोग बात ही उसी की करते थे, मतलब एक कथा थी. Like there was no phone, no television, and nothing. So we only remember Krishna back then. And now that we have come out of village and we can see so many demigods and all, we are all confused. But back then, when she was a child, like 60, 65 years back, so we only remember Krishna. We knew nothing. We were going on village, we were doing farming. So we were talking about them. Like she was saying कि कथा भी उनकी चलती थी, चर्चे होते थे, like they were sitting under trees. So I felt that very nice, like why we have come out of that place. So that was the thing I was having discussion with her. So similarly, like we discussed, the women's, they never heard of Krishna, but they heard Krishna from the women's of the Vrindavan village. That is the thing. And thus, that's how the love develops. The proximity was there, very, very far, but there was love in the separation. That thing is there. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, because you are Brajvasi, huh? So this is what Prabhupada said. We must all go back 100 years. We must all go back 100 years. This is our remembrance of Krishna. You no need for all these gadgets also. Just farm, talk about Krishna, you're done. Full stop. Very nice. All the best. You do it. You can do it. You lead the way, and we'll follow you. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. We'll come to the conclusion. Hare Krishna. Everybody has spoken the realizations. Okay, Hare Krishna. So I think it looks like we have concluded today with devotees. Good enough. Now, whose turn is it to sing Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us? It's a little late today for us, but
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's my turn Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्णा माधव जी, कैसे हैं आप जी?
मैं ठीक हूँ प्रभुजी।
बहुत बढ़िया। आज आपके हमने 4 नाम के डेफिनेशन निकाले, ठीक है ना, माधव जी के। 4 मीनिंग निकाले, 4 मीनिंग। चलिए, बहुत बढ़िया। Sing nicely with actions, okay? We'll follow you. ठीक है ना? चलिए, 1, 2, 3, start.
Sorry, Hare Bol. Panurupa raised his hand. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Madhu, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. It's Suchi Mataji's birthday today.
When is it? Today?
Yes.
Oh, today is his birthday, her birthday. Hare Krishna Mataji. This is a happy birthday today. Happy wala birthday. Very nice, very nice. We should sing for you. Yeah, we should all sing for her. Very nice. Thank you for letting us know, Prabhuji. Let us unmute ourselves. Let us all sing first. Okay, Mataji, just hold your horses. Okay, na? We'll sing for her first. Then we'll sing. You can sing. Okay, chaliye. Please unmute yourselves, all of you. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to you.
Battery, please charge.
Happy birthday, dear Shuchi Mataji.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
To you.
Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna,
to
to
you.
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna to
Krishna
you.
to
May you
you.
never,
Never
never be
be
born
born.
again. May
May
you
you
never
be
be
born
born
again.
again.
May
May
you
you go
never
down to
Never
be
Godhead.
Hare
Hare Krishna to
Krishna.
you. Haribo! 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 Shruti Mataji ki jai! Very nice. Hare Krishna. Okay, very good. So, hope you will have a good plan today. Big plan for big feast. All the best to you and your family. Hare Krishna. And friends. ठीक है माधव जी, it is your turn now to sing Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us. Okay, please sing. Okay, with nice actions. 1, 2, 3, start.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
We have learned some real good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you we will sing.
And today for you we will sing.
If our room is clean,
If our room is clean,
then our mind is clean.
then our mind is clean.
If our mind is clean,
If our mind is clean,
we can do anything.
we can do anything.
If your room is dirty,
If your room is clean,
then so are we.
no, if your room is clean.
If your room is clean,
If your room is clean,
then your mind is clean.
then your
Three.
mind.
If your room is dirty, again.
If your room is dirty,
If your room
then so are we.
Then so are we.
And if we are dirty,
And if we are dirty,
we're not happy.
we're not happy.
Wasting time
Wasting time
is the greatest crime.
is the greatest crime.
Because wasted time
Because wasted time
means a wasted mind.
means a wasted mind.
So best is your time
So best use your time
when you're in your prime.
when you're in your prime.
And your whole life
And your whole life
will be sublime.
will be sublime.
If your wealth is gone,
If your wealth is gone,
then there's nothing wrong.
then there is nothing wrong.
But if your health is gone,
But if your health is gone,
that's a different song.
that's a different song.
If your character dies,
If your character dies,
then the world will cry.
then the world will cry.
Only saintly behavior
Only saintly behavior
lets humanity thrive.
lets humanity thrive.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You must always remember Krishna
Must always remember Krishna
and never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But how are we to practice if there's so many things to do?
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
And here's the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue.
You must learn to rock so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
So listen very closely
So listen very closely
and make your thinking sharp.
and make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
And some things used to tomorrow,
If something's due tomorrow,
finish it today.
finish it today.
Whatever's due today,
Whatever's due today,
do it now, don't delay.
do it now, don't delay.
Your friends might be lazy
Your friends might be lazy
or doing bad things,
or doing bad things,
but you think again,
but you think again,
don't follow them,
don't follow them,
and you'll win in the end.
and you will win in the end.
Whatever work we're given,
Whatever work we're given,
we do our very best.
we do our very best.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
This is how to live, to work and to play. You'll learn to live this way, you'll see Krishna every day.
This is how to live, to work and to play. You learn to live this way, see Krishna every day.
And when our time is up, he'll take us up above. We'll sing and dance with him with a heart full of love.
And when our time is up, he'll take us up above. We sing and dance with him with a heart full of love.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. His only way this world will ever become sin.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his name. The only way this world will ever become sin.
You can only remember.
Now please ask this question.
Now please ask this greatest question.
Now please ask this greatest question.
And find this greatest clue.
And find this greatest clue.
You can only remember Krishna.
You can only remember Krishna.
If Krishna remembers you.
Krishna remembers you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai.
His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Lord Balaram Chandra Appearance Day Mahotsav ki Jai. Shri Krishna Janmashtami Mahotsav Maha Preparations ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Shrimati Mahavishnu Goswamiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatare Sarine. So as I said, next week on Saturday we are meeting New Zealand time 9:30 to 12:30, where leaders Sangha devotees will share their realizations of what they've studied, and we'll meet on Sunday at same time for Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. Hare Krishna. Hope all of you had a very wonderful Lord Balaram's appearance day yesterday, and we'll have a cracker of Janmashtami. You'll have starting from afternoon. You guys will have from afternoon onwards India. So also from Australia, also afternoon onwards, going till midnight. It'll be great fun, remembering Krishna with a lot of philosophy, a lot of prasadam, a lot of fasting. No prasadam actually. Fasting, prasadam next day after Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, 12 o'clock, you know. So, Krishna willing, we'll see you then. Hare Krishna. Chant and be happy.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
thank you,
Krishna, Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram.